Hi folks, it's John from lastchanceautorestore.com. I'd like to introduce you to a truck that we brought to our facility here. It's a 1950 Dodge. It's a regular cab, short bed, step side truck. It's been restored elsewhere approximately 4 to 5 years ago. The client who had it built was having difficulty with driving the vehicle. The biggest problem they had was the shifter linkage. So it's a flathead 6-cylinder, 3 on the tree. And in the, I guess you'd say the olden days, a lot of the late 40s, mid to late 40s and early 50s, even into the mid 60s, there was always concerns about linkage and the shift pattern on how things used to bind. And linkage, if it's not lined up properly, it wouldn't go into first gear or it would pop out of first gear. So every manufacturer has some different quirks about their shifter linkage and the design. So unfortunately our client was having a difficult time shifting. A couple of people looked at it and nobody could really figure out what was going wrong. It felt to me like it was, when you try to get into first, the travel wasn't long enough, and it tried to pop itself out. So it's like it wasn't engaging all the way. So basically it's here at our facility. We're going to figure out what's going on with the shifter, and then we're going to do a general inspection because it's been sitting, like I mentioned earlier, 3 to 4 years. It's just been sitting. So we noticed that the stance of the vehicle isn't correct. So basically what I did is I took a measuring tape and I measured the distance between the level ground and the edge of the fender, and I've just made a notation to share with our client because he lives further away from where our facility is. So we're at the driver's front, and the measurement is 30.5 inches on this front side. And then when you come to the back, I noticed it when we brought it from our client's house in our enclosed trailer. When I had put it on the enclosed trailer before I tied it down, especially the back end, it looked really kind of crooked to me, and this would make sense now because on this back fender, from the distance from the ground to this edge of the fender is 34 inches. Now when we come to the other side, pardon me, this is substantially higher. We're at 35.5 inches. So this side is a good 1.5 inches higher than the driver's side. So something's kind of wonky there. And by the back end being so crooked is obviously going to affect the stance on the front. We've got 31 inches on this front side, which would make sense because the back end is lifted up quite a bit higher, which is in effect going to be a concern on this front. So we've done a little bit of research on it so far, and it looks like we've got some questionable shocks in the rear. So what we're going to do now is we're going to bring it into the shop. We'll put it up on the hoist, and we'll take a closer look, and we'll do an examination. We noticed that both rear wheels, there's brake fluid leaking in our trailer, which is fairly common for a vehicle that's been sitting. So being sitting in their garage for a while and then applying the brakes, because they drove the vehicle from the garage down to the road where the trailer was, and by applying that pressure, I think what's happened is the rear wheel cylinders are probably leaking because we have some seepage there in our trailer in the back of the wheels. So our next step, what we'll do is we'll have it on the hoist. We'll examine the hole underneath. We'll just see what our findings are. We'll share it with our client, and then we'll do another video later on to show you the tweaking or things that we've done. But it's quite a nice truck. They've done a nice job on it. It's a correct Dodge red. It's got the upgraded chrome. There's some nice accents on the inside and on the seats. So it needs a little bit of cosmetic stuff, but it's basically here for the mechanical. So we have to figure out what's going on with the shifter and the shifter linkage, and then make it drivable, and then we'll check from there what other safety issues there might be. So I thank you for watching. I'm John from lastchanceautorestore.com.